just kind of out for a walk, which I've been meaning to do for probably a couple weeks now, and I just keep putting it off and putting it off. But also the weather's been kind of rough. There's been a lot of rain and whatnot, and it's colder now. But today seemed like a perfect day for a walk, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna keep on walking up this little mountain here. I did see something really cool though. This guy, he's actually to the right of me. I don't want him to know that I'm talking about him, but he brought his dog out and he had this little orange ball. And it's like the shape of a tennis ball. And he just like walked onto the grass, tossed it up and like punt kicked it, like not very far. It's kind of high, but only went like maybe 5 feet. But it was like so fun to watch. I don't know why. I was like so amazed by that. Or amused mostly. Good morning, good morning. Today is January 23rd, 2019. Today's actually my little brother's birthday. My bigger little brother. He's taller than me. He's a big guy. But today's his birthday, so happy birthday, brother. I'm gonna see him later today, or tonight. I gotta get him a present. I'll figure it out. But anyways, today's video I want to talk about or share that so last night I was journaling, and I journal quite frequently, almost every day, if not every day, sometimes multiple times a day. It just kind of depends on like what's going on or however I'm feeling or whatnot. But last night I was journaling, and it was around the topic of like just in the last week kind of being like irritated and frustrated with people who to me appear, you know, sometimes inconsiderate. And here's what I know. So I know that pretty much any time I'm looking at someone else and I'm seeing their behavior or what they're doing and I'm just really irritated or annoyed by it, I know that that usually, I would say 100% of the time, has to do with me. Now, it doesn't mean that that person's not actually doing the thing. It doesn't mean that the person, you know, or people who have been kind of getting to me, it's not that they haven't been inconsiderate, but it's also showing me something of myself. And I think that last night I kind of finally realized something. And so I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. I realized, you know, as I was writing it down, I don't know why writing helps so much, but it really helps to get the mind clear. It really helps to see your thoughts on paper. And things will just kind of be revealed to you. That's what happens to me. And so I was writing this down about how, you know, certain people have been kind of on my nerves and actually have even kind of called them out a little bit and let them know, like, hey, whether you mean to or not, you kind of come across as like really inconsiderate sometimes, you know? And so as I'm writing that down and kind of hashing it out, I realized like, oh, I thought of an instance where I had been inconsiderate, and previously I didn't realize that I had been inconsiderate. And I think that's just how it works, is like, I don't think we intentionally go out and we want to be inconsiderate. We want to like not consider other people's feelings or their thoughts or, you know, how certain things that we're doing can affect them. I don't think that we're like consciously trying to do that, but that's kind of like a part of being inconsiderate, is that you're kind of so focused on doing your own thing that you're not really considering other people. So I'm going to give like a brief explanation of what I'm talking about. I don't want to go into it super detailed because it was a point of like contention for me and some family members. And so it's about a post that I put up on Facebook. And at the time, like I was in a place of really wanting to get my coaching business going and just share with people like kind of where I've been in my life, certain things that I've struggled with, certain things that were hard for me and a challenge. And the post in general was supposed to be, you know, me kind of sharing very openly, very raw, very vulnerably, an excerpt from my journal which was from like 2.5 years ago. Just to say like, hey, I've been there. I know that, it was specifically about going through a breakup. I know that it's hard going through a breakup. Wanted to like encourage anyone out there who was going through a similar thing that like, hey, it gets better. You're going to be all right. You're going to get through it. And so I feel like my intentions were to help, and they were to be, I don't know, of service to other people and try to, kind of ease their load a bit. But what I failed to do was to consider that there were other people's names in that post, in that journal entry, that I just didn't even think, how is this going to look on Facebook if people read this and they read those names and they know who I'm talking about and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I realized last night that was really inconsiderate. And so while I don't spend a lot of time in my life having like regrets about anything, I feel like we can learn from everything. Whether it feels like a mistake at the time or whatever, I just feel like there's so much learning that happens. We're constantly learning, we're constantly evolving. And so while I don't necessarily regret that I put that on Facebook, I do see now that the way that I did it was inconsiderate to people. And so I think it's important, as we're kind of going along through our year, 2019 is a big year, that we kind of take some time to recognize those things, when things pop up like that we kind of acknowledge them and say, you know what, yeah, I really was inconsiderate, and I wish that I wasn't. I wish that I would have thought better to, maybe exclude people, or maybe cover up names, or maybe, here's a thought, maybe just not post the thing at all, In hindsight, this is like 6 months ago, in hindsight, where I'm at now, I can see, maybe I didn't need to post that. But where I was at that time, like I was trying for something. I was trying to build something that now I realize maybe I'm not even really that into. But I think when you're in the middle of something that you're trying to build, that you're trying to create, sometimes you have blinders on and you're not really seeing how it's affecting other people. And I think that like, creative types of people, artistic types of people are probably, that happens a lot with them, and that's no excuse. Just because you have an idea or you want to create something, you get to just be willy-nilly and not consider other people. Like that's not an excuse. But I do feel like I see that more in creative types of people who are just really trying to build something that means something to them. And so I just wanted to kind of make this video and talk about how, like, man, I was inconsiderate. And I think it's good to admit that. I think it's good to own it. I think it's good to just see that, what? We're all learning. We're all on our journeys, and we're all doing our best. If I could have done that differently, I think I would do it differently, but I'm also grateful for the lesson. And here's the thing. Here's the really important thing that I kind of want to share about that, is that when you have people in your life who will call you out when you're inconsiderate, you got to be really grateful for those people, because it's highly uncomfortable for them. And it's also uncomfortable for you, because you're just living your life thinking that you're doing, what you're doing, and you're not trying to hurt anyone, but it's possible and it does happen. And so for someone, in your life to come to you and say, hey, like that crossed the line, I don't think you should have done that. That's important, because when that happened to me and my family member came to me and they're like, hey, like, why would you put our stuff out there? I was like, first of all, I was kind of shocked, because I was like, what do you mean? Like, that's not, the entire post is not really about you. That's not why I put it out there. There was no harm meant by it, but I can see now, give it some time and space, that like, oh, that was highly inconsiderate. But you got to be grateful for, family and friends in your life who will let you know, like, you've crossed the boundary here, and that's not okay. And the reason why I think it's super important for me is because I realized shortly after putting that post up that was not what I wanted to do. That was not the kind of post I wanted to create. If I was going to continue on as a coach, I didn't really want to be someone who was connecting other people to painful moments and like dredging up the past. I realized that, I just want to be someone who is more connecting people with fun and joy and laughter and things that are more light of heart. For a time, as I was like trying to find my way as a life coach, I thought that the only way to validate who I was or how I could be of any help to other people was to really put my hardships out there, really put my challenges and my struggles and a lot of things from my past that I've had to deal with. You know, I thought that that validated me as someone that could help others, or that could, you know, show others a better way, or how to live a life where they didn't have to struggle so much, or feel so many heavy and weighted emotions, you know. And I realized shortly after that post that I was like, you know what, that's not even really who I want to be. It's not really who I am, you know. And I think it was coming from a good place. I think that, you know, we set out and we want to do things, and we really do want to help people. We want to serve them, and we want to, you know, we want to take our experience and say, this is what I've been through. Let me help you get through it, and maybe it'll be a little bit more, you know, a little easier. And I think that that's awesome, and I think that that's great for people who want to do that. But I realized that, you know, in these last few years, I've just gotten really clear on who I am and what I want. And one of the things that's come up really strongly for me as a core value is having fun, doing things that are fun, having fun with other people, making people laugh, making people smile, just being goofy or silly, or, you know, going to the wizarding world of Harry Potter because it's just fun. You know, magic's fun and all that kind of stuff. And so this year I'm just looking for a lot of that, just more fun, more ease, more just lightheartedness in general. And so I wanted to make this video just to share, be a little bit open and vulnerable, that sometimes when we're on our path and we're looking for what fits for us, we do things that don't really jive with other people, and they're like, what are you doing, you know? And so I wanted to make this video, own the fact that, like, yep, I've been inconsiderate in my life, probably on more than one occasion. And so I just think it's so important to recognize that, like, we all do it. We're all human, but we're all doing our best. And I think as long as we can acknowledge it and own it and say, you know what, as long as a positive change comes from it, like the way I feel like positive change came from it for me, you know, like really turning me in like 180 degree to go in like the opposite direction. No longer do I want to make videos about like my past and how hard it was and the struggle and all of that. Like, yeah, all that happened and it's helped create me to be who I am today, but that's not all of who I am. And what I think I really want to offer to people and to myself is, like I say, just the fun, the lightheartedness, the easygoing, just like, we're here, and I don't think we need to take it as seriously as we've been taking it, or as I've been for most of my life. And so, yeah, I'd say, you know, more self-awareness in 2019. But like I say, like I've been saying, 2019 it's just such a big year, and there's so much going on. There's so much for us to see, so much to be revealed to us about who we really are, what we really want, and what kind of life we want to create. And I think that being a more considerate person is something that I want to strive for, you know? All right, pals. That's going to be it for this video. Everyone have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.